Hey guys, welcome back to our 20th episode of the B is for Brutal MMA podcast. I really can't believe we've been doing this for 20 weeks now. That is insane, and I'm very proud of that. And for a very special episode, we actually have a very special guest today. We have Dakota Harry Bush. He fights in the UFC in the lightweight division, and he has a record, I think, of 8-3-0, and he actually has a fight scheduled for January 15th. He's a really cool guy. We really enjoyed this episode, so I hope you guys like this episode as much as we did recording it, and definitely go out and watch him fight on January 15th and support him. And thank you again for listening week after week, just hanging out with us, talking UFC. This is B is for Brutal MMA podcast. Welcome back for week 20, episode 20.
Yeah, we've got a great guest this week. We've got one of the best nicknames in the UFC, Dakota Harry Bush. How's it going, bud?
Man, it's going great. I'm home for the weekend actually. I've been up in Kansas City doing my training camps with James Krause and all the guys up at Glory. So feels good to be home. You know, I'm gonna head back up tomorrow morning and then head back for Christmas. So I can't complain.
Yeah, Deja, they've got a lot of people you might know at that gym. Deja's not she hasn't been a fan for that long, maybe only about 2 years, but that's where, Jeff Molina, who beat the Mongolian murderer.
Oh, yeah.
Another good nickname. He fights out of there. So I know he likes that fight.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a great gym up there. So anyways, Deja had a couple questions. You want to roll into them, Deja, or?
Yeah, I mean, I ask a lot. Like, I usually try to ask everybody, like, what kind of got you into like fighting and MMA? For some people, it's maybe they were like getting in trouble in school, or like maybe someone in their family fought in the previously.
Yeah, that's exactly the case for me. My dad used to fight MMA I guess he started when I was right around 5th, 6th grade, and he only fought as an amateur and had like 8 or 9 fights. And when I got to high school and wrestling throughout my life, and then I went to college for wrestling, and I wasn't really feeling it. You know, it wasn't fun. I wasn't really liking the atmosphere. So after one semester of wrestling in college, I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to give fighting a go. And a lot of people were like, you're crazy. You know, you need to stay wrestling. I'm like, man, I really think I could do something with fighting. And I had my first fight and won, and it hooked me. And once MMA gets its hook set in you, it's super hard to get out of it.
Heck yeah. How old were you when you started doing it?
I was 18 when I had my first fight.
Oh,
wow.
That's so sick. That's crazy.
Almost 10 years. Yeah, I'm 27 now, so I've been at it for dang near a decade. And I mean, some days it feels like it's been longer, and some days it feels like I just started, you know.
It's a lot of ass to whoop. For 10 years.
Yeah, and a lot of ass whoopings I've taken too.
Yeah, what keeps you going with like fighting? Like, what do you love about it?
It's super hard for me to explain. Me and a couple of my buddies and my wife and all of us just trying to figure out, why do I fight? Like what really motivates me to? And of course, my family and kids, and to provide a better lifestyle does. But I just think it comes down to me being like an adrenaline junkie. And I just love that feeling, and whether it's fighting or hunting or, shark fishing, just wherever it may take me. It's just, I kind of live my life like that. So I guess fighting's the perfect way out for me to get that fix.
It's like the new embodiment of cowboy Cerrone almost.
Yeah.
It's doing all types of wild stuff in and out of the cage.
Yeah, when I noticed your picture when it popped up and you had like a turkey in your hand, that kind of made me think of like how hunting is similar to fighting to me, because you still have like a prey that you're going after, that you're like, you probably studied and like watched some of his previous fights to kind of know like what you're going to be looking for when you get there.
Yeah, definitely. And turkey hunting is that's my absolute favorite thing to do on earth. If I could make money turkey hunting, I wouldn't fight. I would definitely just be a turkey hunter, but it's hard to to put a profit margin into it. But it's a lot. There's a lot of similarities that that they correlate with hunting and fighting, and I guess that's why I'm a decent at both of them.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. I'm from Arkansas, which is pretty close to Missouri, and like hunting's really big there. Like they have like the duck capital of the world in Stuttgart, which I think is pretty cool. And a lot of people come there just to duck hunt.
Actually, TJ Brown, I don't know if you know who he is.
Downtown.
He's out of
Arkansas. Out of Pine Bluff.
Yeah, TJ's actually up at Glory right now. He's up there training with us too. So
very cool. Yeah, I went to a concert in his hometown, Pine Bluff. Fun fact.
Him and Thug Nasty.
Yes.
Oh
dude.
yeah.
Woo! I love when he fights. Dude. He's so entertaining.
Oh, you gotta love him.
Yeah. He's very. I think he's fighting Edson Barbosa coming up. Dude. That'll be wild.
I think they were going to schedule it, but I think there are some contract issues maybe, and I don't know if they got it booked or not. Hopefully they do. I'd love to see that one.
Yeah, that would be wild. And you have a fight. I think it's January 15th.
Yep,
coming up.
Correct.
Yeah.
Well, I practice saying this name, Vyacheslav Borishev. Borishev. That's a tough name to say, dude. For a tough dude.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, he's a tough guy.
Dude, the harder the name is to say, a lot of times I'm like, dude, he must be a tough fella.
Yeah, that's true. He's a tough cat. He's mostly a striker. He's had like 300 something kickboxing fights over the course of his life, and a world champion kickboxer at that. So he's going to be game, but MMA is a totally different sport than kickboxing. So
that's for sure.
I think I bring a lot of different more tools to the table to win this fight, and I think I got a little more of a dog than he does. So if my technique and skill can't beat him, we'll throw out our hearts and see whose beats a little harder.
Woo.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it, especially like your wrestling background for so long doing it. I think that's definitely one of like your key advantages in this matchup.
The chain wrestling. 100%. You mix the chain wrestling in on these pure strikers. They don't know what hit them half the time.
Oh yeah. He's gonna be expecting the shot, and he's gonna be good at digging underhooks initially. So, like you said, chain wrestling is going to really eat him up and making him feel comfortable. I'm going to keep it on the feet, and I believe I can stand with him. So, as long as I'm comfortable and I feel like I'm getting the striking exchanges, I'm gonna keep it there.
That's one of my favorite things about fighters is the confidence. Like I love to hear like the confidence going in, because I feel like if you don't have the confidence, then you're kind of counting yourself out going in there.
Yeah, that's half the battle, is believing in yourself. If I sat here and tried to blow, smoke up my own butt or yours, it's just what it is. Some people have to talk and be obnoxious to get that confidence to make them, try to fake it. But I believe in my skill set. I believe in my training partners, my coaches. So, I put so much time in that if I didn't believe in myself, what am I doing this for,
Yeah.
So sick. Yeah, there are some guys who say some very wild things at times. It seems like it's slowing down these days. Like it's getting more professional.
We were just kind of talking about that, how the McGregor wave came through and everyone was talking shit. Everyone's, trying to be that big personality, but I think the humbleness is starting to come back around, and I really like that because it makes it so much easier, knowing that you don't have to deal with all these fake shitheads,
Yeah, I like the humble guys more for sure. My favorite fighters are more humble.
Lyoto Machida style, where you just like bow after you knock him out. Like,
yeah,
it's cold, dude, but respectfully cold.
Yes, for sure.
I like that, respectfully cold.
Yeah, respectfully stone cold. Because you gotta have ice in your veins in there. So it's so crazy, dude. MMA stole my love from all other sports.
Yeah, same.
There's nothing like it, you know.
Yeah.
There's so many other sports to where you can have a flaw. You can have a person can be the flaw, you know, in your system, whether it's football, basketball, baseball, whatever. You know, you can one guy can make up for it, you know, like if you have a horrible team, one guy can help out or vice versa. You guys could have a great team, but one guy blows it for you. You know, MMA, the world sees truly who's better that night.
Yeah.
You may be a better fighter, but that night maybe you weren't, but the world sees it. And there's no excuses. There's nothing to put it on. It's just you and another man locked in a cage. And there's nothing more primal than it.
So raw. Dude.
Yeah, I like that word primal. That's one of the reasons why I love the sport as well, because it's like when you get in there, I feel like I don't fight professionally, but I feel like when you get in, you kind of go like in a different headspace. Like I don't want to actually fight, but I kind of want to know like what's that like, you know.
It's I try to stay calm, you know, like the whole day and the lead up and the walkout before I get out there. But when I get in there, it's like every time when the ref's like, you ready? Are you ready? Every time in my head, I'm like, man, here we go again. And I'm going to enjoy this, but I'm going to try to kill this dude, you know, and because he's going to try to do the same to me. And that's food out of my mouth, out of my family's mouth. And let's bang it out. And it's, you just can't explain it. You know, it's hard to, unless you really get in there. It's, my coach always says it too, you know, the hungriest dog runs the fastest. So who's ever more hungry in there, whoever wants it more usually comes out on top.
There's been so many great lead ups to, I love you ever watch the old Ultimate Fighter seasons? Mm-hmm. I love those, dude. When it almost felt like you were along for the ride with them sometimes, because it would be like a couple days ahead of time. And they're like, all right, time to start watching my calories. And then it'd be like a couple hours ahead of time. And they're like, all right, yep, we're taking the van ride over. And then like a couple minutes ahead of time. And he's like, all right, I got to get in there. And it's like, whoa, that was a change from one day to the next.
The day of the fight and the build up and from after you step on the scale and weigh in, from that point on until you get in the cage is just, you go through literally every emotion that a human being can possibly feel. It's wild, and it makes you feel alive, you know, and it's calming and it's exciting. It's scary. It's, you know, people say they don't get nervous. If you don't get nervous, I feel like, you know, that's not always good, you know, because I feel like the nerves keep you on your toes a little bit. Yeah. So
there's some guys like Nate Diaz says he throws up beforehand, and George St. Pierre said every time basically his coaches have to talk him out of quitting. Yeah. He'd be like, I want to quit. I don't want to do it. I want to quit, like every time. Yeah. It's crazy.
It took me, I'm not even kidding you, till probably, I don't know, 2 or 3 fights ago, to where every time I was walking out, you know, getting ready to walk out to the cage, I'd always be like, man, why am I doing this? This sucks. I do not want to do this. And then, you know, you get in there, and once the door shuts and it gets going, it's like, all right, this isn't bad. But it took me a while to really sit down and, you know, and convince myself to like really enjoy the process, you know, smell the roses along the way, just have fun. And, you know, when I look back after my career is over, I'm not sitting there thinking, you know, man, if I'd have not been nervous, if I wouldn't have been, you know, gun shy to go do this or that, what would my career look like? So now I'm here to let it all fly, you know.
That's good. That's an earned mindset right there. That is an earned mindset. That's for sure.
It took a while. It definitely did. It took me a while to get it.
Yeah, that's so exciting. That's so sick.
Yeah, that's one thing I appreciate about like fighters like yourself is like the discipline, you know, because the average human walking around does not have that much discipline or wisdom, you know.
Yeah, it's you know, just the being in the game, and you know, every decision you make, thinking like potentially, you know, if I eat this, do I need to do this or that, or if I don't run today, what's going to happen, you know, in the fight, you know, I don't want those what ifs playing like, man, if I would have ran those other 2 days, or wouldn't have, would have went to training this day instead of sitting at home and relaxing, would I won the fight? I couldn't live off of what ifs, you know, and that's the checklist I try to go through every fight is, you know, did I 100% train to my full capability? And then 2 is when I step in the cage, I'm not afraid of this man. I don't respect him. And, you know, I just focus on me and putting out my best performance. And then 3 is just I don't quit, and you know I leave everything in there. Then what can I be upset about, you know? And if I can do that, I'll be able to sleep at night.
Yeah, that's so wild.
And just like, dude, there's so many people who would never, they wouldn't be able to cut weight. Dude, imagine like the electrician coming to your house. Dude, there's no way. Yeah. He'd never be able to live that life.
That's the part of the game that's I don't like it and I hate it, but I get it. It's got to happen, and I've been doing it forever, and so it's just, you know, part of it. But man, my fight when I got called up to the UFC, I took it on 6 days, and I cut 31 pounds in 6 days
against Thud.
Against Hubbard. Yep.
Oh my God,
and
it's a tough guy to do that against.
Yeah, and he definitely. He made me pay, you know, with that weight cut. He's just a steady grind. He's a tough dude. And so I knew, you know, having a hard cut like that I would have had to get him out of there. I knew it was going to be really tough for me to beat a guy like him by decision. So that's what I went for in the first round. I went to, you know, to put his lights out, try to get him out of there. And it didn't work, you know. I got the first round under my belt and won that, but you know, I didn't have the energy or the cardio or the time to really work those second 2 rounds. But
yeah, even the commentary team was pretty much saying that. They're like, you know what though, for only 6 days, he looked pretty good for a minute there.
Yeah, and that's all I wanted to do is just show that I belonged and that I'm a dog and I'm gonna go after it. And I knew to myself, I'm like, he is not going to finish me. There's no way I'm letting this dude finish me. And, you know, it is what it is. And I'm thankful for it. I've grown and learned so much from that. And look where it got me, you know, got my foot in the door. So I couldn't say no to that.
Yeah. Dude, especially those tough debuts like that. Those guys always get another chance. There's plenty of guys who slipped on their debut short notice against a super tough guy like Kevin Holland. There's all types of guys. I can't
there's like I said, there's so many guys, but I think it is a lot of the willingness to show, you know, that you're not using that as an excuse that like, oh, I just got in on 6 days so I can go out there and, you know, let this dude just walk through me and it'll be all right. They'll understand. You know, on paper, I was supposed to lose that fight 10 out of 10, you know, coming in off 6 days. But in my head, I was winning that fight every day. I was knocking that dude's head off in the first round.
Yeah.
So, but you got to have that mindset, you know?
Oh, yeah. Dude, there's been plenty of great upsets on debuts. I mean, there was some good ones this year. Chris Action Man Curtis, dude, he had a good one.
That dude's on a roll, man.
Yeah,
he's
dude.
Scary dude.
This was one of the only shows. I only saw one other show that had him picked. I had him picked in both his fights, but I had him against Haas. I was like, people don't know, dude. Chris Curtis has been lurking. He's been around. They haven't paid attention.
And he didn't beat, you know, no middle of the road, dude, you know, like
beating tough guys.
Gatekeepers. Phil Hawes was 3-0 in the UFC at the time, and Brendan Allen's tough as nails, man.
Dude,
Brendan Allen's good.
Yeah, he has big wins, Brendan Allen.
And, you know, for him to go put out, you know, and it was relatively quick turnaround, you know, from when he fought Hawes to Brendan.
Yeah, like 2 weeks.
I believe that one.
Insane.
It's just, it's awesome to see, you know.
Yeah, it is awesome. He was cornering somebody yesterday. I can't remember exactly.
Yeah, I seen him. Oh, it was Jordan Levitt, I believe.
Oh, you were supposed to fight Jordan Levitt at one point.
I was, and I would love
Monkey
to,
King.
You know, after I get this fight out of the way and focus on this guy, I would definitely love to get back in there and get that fight scheduled up. Like
that would be
wild.
Sick. Battle of the coolest nicknames.
Yeah, that'd be a fun one. And our styles it'd just be a super exciting fight. I would love that one.
He had a wild finish.
Yeah, inverted triangle. I'm super surprised, with that kind of submission that he didn't get a bonus.
Dude, Air Jordan, I was surprised didn't get a bonus. Charles
That
Jordan,
guy's mean, man.
That got nothing. He had 2 big fights like that this year. When he fought Marcel Rojo, he didn't get a bonus either. I was like,
at the end of that
on?
fight, when he yelled at the dude and then hit him with that kick and put him on his butt.
Yeah.
Dude, the ref didn't know what to do. He was like, do I wave it off? He made the funniest reaction I've ever seen out of a ref for that. He was like, what? So that was so sick, dude. I love when he fights.
Yeah, he's the entertainer for sure.
And he's at lightweight, right? Is that one?
No, he's at 145.
145. Okay.
Yeah, thank God.
Yeah, they might match you up with him. But there's so many killers at 155, though.
Yeah.
It's deep, man. 45's getting just as deep,
35, 45, and 55 are insane.
It's the hardest weight class, to 55 over the course of, MMA's always been just the deepest weight class because your average man walks around 175 pounds. So they're going to cut to 55. So you're just going to have a bigger playing field. And it's also more rewarding, when you can go in there and win in a division that's that deep.
And it's most people's favorites because there's still power, but people have great technique and speed. So you get a mix of it all.
Some like cats with 2 tails tied together, like a little cartoon ball going at it. It's wild.
Some of my all-time favorites were at 155. Tony, dude, Tony's all-time favorite.
I miss that. I feel like he's kind of over the hill and he's going to be done. I think it's just, he was so awkward and so athletic over the course of his career that he got away with being like that. And then now that he's older and he's kind of slowed down, that he didn't really develop the fundamentals that he needed to work out of bad positions instead of using, athleticism and awkwardness.
Yeah, he's too busy kicking trees.
So now it's like people like Dariush and Oliveira, they put him on the mat, which don't take none from them guys. Are absolute killers.
Yeah.
But he just doesn't have the fundamentals to work and, eliminate the processes he needs to get back to his feet to be where he wants.
Yeah. Pass him to the guard, dude. And they've got the 2 longest win streaks in the division.
That's the one fight I think is scary for Oliveira is Dariush. Dude. I think he gives him a good fight.
I think he gives just about anybody a good fight. He's fighting Islam, I think, coming up.
That's gonna be wild. I'm ready.
I'm really pulling for Dariush in that one. I hope he can squeak it out. I think he's the dark horse in the division.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, dude. He has been for a while. People never know who he is. He was a betting underdog a lot of times when I thought he shouldn't have been. He was a big underdog against Tony. I mean, Charles Oliveira was an underdog against Tony, though. So.
Yeah, I know. And what's crazy, I've been saying this for about 4 years or so. Me and my buddy AJ, been telling everyone, Oliveira, he's just so good everywhere. He's going to be the champ. Just wait till he just starts knocking down the dominoes, and he'll get there. And finally, it came to fruition, and now everyone's kind of hopping on the bandwagon, but. It's like, man, that guy is scary good everywhere. His striking's literally perfect. His jiu-jitsu speaks for itself, obviously. His wrestling, look how he took down Chandler right away in that fight. And he's just so well-rounded. And I personally think he's the best, well-rounded fighter from 125 heavyweight.
Yeah, dude, technique-wise. It's too bad he doesn't have, like, Justin Gaethje's chin on him. That'd have been so good because that was his falling a couple of times.
Yeah, and I think too, that was him at 45. I think the cut because he's a big 55er.
Yeah,
and the cuts to 45 was just so much water out of his brain. I think his chin was just, it was so much weaker than what it should have been. So when he moved up to 55, he really went on that tear. And people said he quit, he breaks, but I really think it was just so much exhaustion from his weight cuts.
Yeah, I think the only has he been finished. What did he fight Pettis at 45 or 55?
It might have been 55.
So then he got finished twice at 55 then because he got subbed by Pettis and Felder.
Yep.
With some of the dirtiest elbows I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Woo, that was brutal.
Yeah, it's crazy too because Charles grew up in the UFC. He got in the UFC when he was 19 years old and has been there ever since.
Yeah, I think it's like 11 years or something.
Debuted against Darren Elkins at 19 years old.
And he had to, mature and grow up and learn how to fight, high level competition as a kid. It's hard to do. And it's impressive that he just gutted it out and stayed with it. And now look at him,
Killing it now.
Yeah. I was so scared for him when he fought Dustin. I picked Oliveira because I was like, I'm gonna go for him, but I really didn't want to pick either one of them.
It was a coin flip for me.
Yeah, same. It's like you love both of them. They're both great dudes and exciting fighters. And I was super nervous for Oliveira so many times in the fight because he wasn't moving his head at all. He was just leaving it on center line, and Dustin was tagging him so many times, but he ate him and walked through him. So.
Yeah, that fight was so great.
Yeah.
Charles Oliveira's title reign has been so entertaining. So, it's gonna be wild if he fights Gaethje next.
I think they're definitely gonna make that one happen, and then I think then the Dariush Islam, whoever wins that,
winner
next. But man, I really think Charles is gonna put it on Gaethje. I think he subs him. Gaethje's harder to take down. But I think he puts him in trouble with hands, and he ends up getting a sub, maybe like round 2 or 3 as well.
Yeah. Gaethje, he gives his back up quite a bit. So
he's but like I said, Gaethje's the toughest dude in the division. And
he gives his back up, but he drunkenly kind of does it in a way that he just slides away as well.
And he's super hard to take down. He's the guy who's gonna gas out to defend a takedown. He'll leave everything to prove that you're not taking him down. And
he's got
scary.
an 89% takedown defense or something like that. Something wild.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to watch some of his fights because I think
he's
the
got
most recent one I've seen is when he fought Habib, and
you saw
to
him
me
fight
that
Chandler.
didn't. Okay, yeah. Chandler's a striker, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
That fight was
wild.
So good.
So.
I felt so bad for the Billy Quarantillo and Shane Burgos fight
because that fight was amazing too.
Oh, that was fight of the night on any other card. And they kind of got robbed because they broke the record for the most combined strikes landed in the fight. And that fight had to be before him and just steal, all the electricity out of the room. So I felt real bad. That sucked.
When you're on a card, do you watch fights while you're waiting, or are you more focused on your mind than everything?
It depends, how deep I'm in the card. Let's say if I'm the 8th fight or so, I'll probably watch the first 3 or 4 fights, and then I'm really gonna start hitting it and warming up and getting ready and focusing and dialing in. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna be pretty early on this card, so probably be the first or second fight. So, which I like. It's nice. The waiting's the hardest part. Pettis said it the best. So.
Yeah, I can't imagine just waiting to get up there and what you've been training for so long.
Yeah, it's like you say, you just got that anxiety, that build up and everything. You're ready to get in there.
Probably couldn't even really enjoy the other fights until after your fight.
No, probably not. No, I don't think so. I think it's just hurry up, fucking get the knockout finished. All right, thank God, next fight. And then you see a fight, how it's going, fuck, this one's going to go to decision. I can just feel it, and then go to decision, and then, man,
strawweight. It's going to be 15 minutes.
Yeah, it's more relieving afterwards, but this card's going to be super, nerve-wracking even after I fight, because I got Jake Collier, who, I came up training with and been training with him ever since I started MMA. He's fighting the same night as me. And then also TJ Brown, he's on the card as well. So two other teammates. So it's going to be a fun night.
I always love to say that. Downtown TJ Brown. I like when the nickname comes first.
Yeah, he's got a good one. He's a great dude, man. And it's a great training partner. I love his accent, his Arkansas. He's got a deep draw. It's super fun just being around him.
Yeah, it's good for him to get at a big gym like that, I think. Get better training partners than in Little Rock.
Yeah, that's one thing I learned when we had Bobby Southworth on the podcast. He was on like the first season of The Ultimate Fighter. And I always thought like MMA was like an individual sport because you're like in there by yourself, but I didn't know like how much of a difference it makes when you have better training partners,
Yeah. Yeah, you have to seek out to find, guys that are going to beat you up in the gym and be better than you. When you are so dominant in training and you're better than everyone, you kind of get that bullfrog on the pond mentality and you get stagnant. So you're not really growing. And this game, everyone knows if you're not growing, you're not evolving, you're going to get left in the dust. This game's ever evolving. It's unrelentless. It's the craziest sport on earth, and anyone can argue it. It's a fact. This is the craziest sport on earth.
Yeah,
it's the craziest and the best, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Lethway might be up there, dude. Lethway's got headbutts. They're crazy too.
Oh yeah,
Lethway's like MMA, but no takedowns. Well, you can throw them to the ground, but no ground.
There's that thing somewhere in like Nigeria or somewhere over there in Africa.
With the one big arm?
Yeah, it's like a cast, kind of. They club people with it. Wild.
Yeah, that's crazy too. Dude, there's some wildness going on.
That 5-on-5 stuff.
Oh, those are brutal because it's always the first guy to go down. After that, it just becomes 2-on-1, 3-on-1, 4-on-1, 5-on-1.
Over.
That's like some Fight Circus stuff, dude. They have some. You ever watch Fight Circus?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
dude. I love the when they're in the phone booth, literally the phone booth.
Yeah,
fighting.
yeah, and they lock.
That is so wild. Lethway in the phone booth, craziness. They do that, dude. They must not be getting paid that much to do that.
I would think.
I'm like, those guys probably got like $600 for that.
That's like Rough and Rowdy kind of paycheck.
Weren't you watching something where it's like 2-on-1 recently?
Yeah, that was Fight Circus. It was one, and the fat guy was so much better than the in shape guys. It was so bizarre. It was one fat guy versus two really in shape guys, and he was losing, but only because it was 2 versus 1.
Yeah, and it's so unassuming. There's guys I've trained with or seen. You see him.
Jake Collier.
Jake's scary dude, man. And there's guys, that you look at him and you're like, man, that guy's a nerd. That guy looks like he's like playing with Yu-Gi-Oh cards and they're wearing his Dragon Ball Z jacket, which there's a lot of guys like that in MMA. There's so many guys that are just a different breed of guys. And you wouldn't expect them to be tough. Yeah, you wouldn't expect these type of guys to be tough, but they got a different knack for the game. They got a different mindset where they just dive in and they really pick it apart and they're like savants to the game. It's crazy.
Yeah, there's a guy that just debuted at Bellator, Ben Big Tuna something.
Paris.
Yes, dude, this guy, his physique. You'd never think this man is good, but he is so fast.
Quick too.
He's so fast. It's ridiculous. He's so jiggly and fast. He just knocked out like the 9th ranked guy or something in Bellator.
Yeah.
His debut. Yeah. So sick.
Yeah, it was like 30 seconds or something.
So
it was
wild.
pretty quick.
Yeah.
That's like last night I thought Daukaus was going to be able to get in there and make Derek Lewis miss big punches. And after 2 rounds, he'd be able to outwork him for the 3rd, 4th, and 5th and just put hands on him, probably not finish him, but just box him out. And man, Lewis was not having that. He was unloading.
Lewis looked twice his size.
Yeah, he's big. He was 30 pounds heavier, I think, or something.
Yeah,
like that.
30 pounds
He
heavier.
weighed in 30 pounds heavier. So, Daukaus just stepped on the scale at what he was. So,
Yeah.
he
And
showed
Lewis
up
is
at
probably
fight
like
night,
270
280.
something.
Yeah, I bet. I mean, 280. He probably had, 55 pounds on him at least.
Yeah, he looked so much bigger. And you could really even in the striking and that almost showed Chris Daukaus. I don't think maybe he can, but it almost seems like those guys who are full-sized heavyweights are going to be a little too big for him.
Yeah, I think you're right. Like once you go from there, you got Ngannou, you got Gan,
Blades,
Volkov. Yeah, these guys are such big frames and
6'7"
weight. So even like Blades, like Curtis, and I just think I think he can make 205. I really do, but is it really beneficial to him? He's got the speed advantage,
skill advantage a lot of times.
So maybe it's not worth the weight cut to go down to fight guys just as quick and maybe have a little more power, but they're quicker in scrambling positions, or the weight cut kills you. It's something he'd have to figure out,
I think he's got to make a decision of go down or put on 20 pounds in muscle.
Yeah.
So
I think so.
He's only like 32. That is young at heavyweight.
For that weight
guys fight till they're 45. So you could take 8 months to gain 20 pounds at heavyweight.
Yeah, for sure. Look at Glover Teixeira, just 42 years old, just won the belt.
Yeah, so good. He's got, dude. He's so good. Of all time.
So, it's a feel good story. It makes you feel good seeing that. Him coming to the top and not making it, and then he kind of disappeared for a while. Then he climbs his way all the way back to the top, and he's not just beating gimmies and getting title shot he didn't deserve. He worked his way up there and finished great guys and tough fights, and is the undisputed champ now. It's just awesome to see.
He had such a great run to the title too, dude. From that, from the Ion Kutalaba fight when the win streak started, but but from the main events, like when he fought Anthony Smith, that was so good. And then when he fought Thiago Santos, that was such an underrated fight. So
Anthony
good.
Smith fight, Anthony. I thought Smith was winning the first round for sure. Maybe the second. I can't remember.
First two, yeah.
And he was just staying long and popping him, and Teixeira just started eating at him. And I think he knocked Anthony's teeth out or something in that fight.
Yeah. There's a pretty famous clip, because that was one of the first cards. They hadn't quite figured out how to do the no crowd camera yet. And you could really hear the coaches and everything the first couple fights. And there was a part where he's ground and pounding him, and his teeth fall out, and he goes, "I'm sorry." And Anthony Smith just goes, "It is what it is."
Oh, wow.
Then it goes to the corner, and when he sat down, he goes, "I think my teeth just got knocked out." And he's like, "Breathe. All right, this is what you got to do when you get in there." Like, just totally ignored. They just said his teeth got knocked out.
Yeah, Mark Montoya is a savage, man.
Crazy. Lionheart, dude. Anthony Smith's one of my favorites of all time, too.
Yeah, he's a great dude. And
my favorites, you'll probably tell the style I like, dude. Tony Ferguson, Anthony Smith, the Diaz brothers. I like them. Yeah. Max Holloway.
Yeah, I love Max, dude. That guy is. I just don't know how they don't give him a title shot again.
Yeah, I agree.
Is he not getting a title shot next?
I think he is. I thought Dana said to Volk, like, dude, I'm sorry, but you're gonna have to fight him again.
He should. Didn't Vegas give everybody their money back last time or something?
Yeah, they did. Wildness. The only time they've ever done that in any sport ever.
That's what was wild. I personally thought Max won the second fight. I thought the first fight was, super close.
Very close.
That I wasn't upset with either way. But I thought the second fight, Max definitely won that fight.
Dropped him twice.
And I was watching it unbiasedly, really trying to just pick it apart. And I still think, Max won that fight. And I'm just excited to see what he's going to bring to the table different, if he's just going to put way more volume on him, and what Volk's going to do to try to win. So That Ortega fight with him was wild with both
Yeah.
people.
That'll probably get fight of the year. If
I
it
think
hadn't
so.
already. That was so good. That was
If
wild.
Gaethje was 5 rounds, they probably would have got it. But I think since that one was just so wild and so close to finishes, and it was an awesome fight to for the title fight too.
And I thought Ortega won the 5th round too. So I was
too.
like, dang, he's not even out of it entirely. So.
And it was just some of them. I just think Volk did so much more damage to him.
Oh yeah.
Oh, he was destroyed.
Oh my God.
Ortega
life-changing ground and pound.
Yeah, he doesn't wear damage too well either.
Yeah.
He gets busted up real
Swells
bad.
up.
Yeah.
I think with a different game plan, Ortega would have stood a better chance.
He's tough as dude.
So tough. A little too tough for his own good at times.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people could have handled that much damage and would still be standing.
Oh no, he's got a great chin.
Yeah, pressing. It's like the fight with Max. Even they threw in the towel. He wasn't going to quit.
Yeah.
But that was a great decision for his corner to do, because Max was just
picking him apart.
It was not even a fair fight. That looked like a UFC champ fighting a day one amateur fighter.
Yeah. Because I mean that was a hype train gone wrong almost on that one. It was like, this guy's got some momentum behind him. Throw him in there for a title. But it was like, he was beating tough guys, but they were tough, a lot tougher 4 or 5 years before he was.
Yeah. He fought, he subbed Guida, he knocked Frankie out. And don't get me wrong, them guys are still, to go to the sport and still around and still fighting, tough as hell. But Ortega caught them, not necessarily in their prime anymore.
Yeah.
But Ortega's
then
tough,
came up against, and because of that, then went up against a prime Max Holloway, which he was not ready for at that time.
And I was kind of bought into the hype of Ortega too. I thought, man, this might be a good fight. He's
a wizard, dude. He could pull it out.
And sheesh,
he was undefeated,
After the first 2 rounds, watching, I'm like, dude, they're gonna have to freaking stop this fight. This is gonna get way worse. And thank God they did throw in the towel for his career's sake.
There's times like that could happen. It could happen again, dude. Like, I think Cyril Gane is very good, but you could see a similar thing when he finally gets to like Ngannou.
Yeah, who hits the hardest.
We'll see if he can actually handle something like that.
Yeah, that's scary.
He fought tough guys, but I mean, JDS and Lewis, they're not fast. Like,
and I think Lewis has that was not him in that fight. When he fought Gane, all the pressure, all that got to him, and he was gun shy. He wasn't in there, and he kind of just, he kind of gave it to the guy. I think he's way better. He could beat that guy, but I think, like you said, that I think Ngannou's starting to really come into his prime, and he's getting better every fight. So it's gonna be. I think he finishes Gane. I think Gane's gonna play on the outside, and try to use movement, because he's got pretty good movement for a heavyweight.
Yeah, he's very fast.
Yeah,
and I think he's just gonna get clipped or something,
Yeah, and Ngannou just has to get you one time.
I think Gane is gonna be winning the fight until like somewhere at some point. It could be early, it could be late, but 25 minutes is a long time to make it through with Francis Ngannou.
Yes, to keep one of them bomb. That's all he needs is one punch, and not even to put your lights out, but just that one punch for everything that you've been, your game plan to change. You're like, fuck, he's got power, and he just touched me with the jab. And, you start second guessing your game plan and what you're doing, and then he just starts picking at you. And then next thing you know, you're waking up.
If he stays well protected and fundamental like he did in his last fight, I don't see him losing. But if he, for a second, gets frustrated and blitzes, I think that's where Gane could really exploit him and do something there.
I think I really don't think Gane's gonna try to. Well, I think they used to train together a little bit, something. I don't know how much they train together, but so they know from sparring, what each other's tendencies are and whatnot. But if I had to guess, I think Gon's gonna, like I said, he's gonna stay on the outside and try to counter punch and try to use his kicks to keep his range. But like you said, if Francis overextends and tries throwing too big, and he catches him with a clean uppercut or left hook, that's what I could see him, finishing him with. But I don't think he's got the balls to win the fight, honestly.
Yeah, Francis is such a monster, dude.
Yeah.
Woo.
It's so wild. I like when you say that he shot Stipe.
That's what it looked like. It looked like he got shot with a gun, dude.
And he folded his leg under him, man.
It looked like he got shot. Like when you see videos of people like getting shot in like convenience stores and stuff, they fall in a similar way to how Stipe just locked up and just went down. It's like, whoa.
Yeah, it's so wild.
Heavyweight's insane.
I feel like you can be like super confident, but I feel like no matter who you are, you've got to be scared going in there with Ngannou.
He went down. Oh yeah. Oh my god, dude. Even if I was armed, I'd be like,
I would fight him with a gun. There ain't no way.
Yeah, if we're in the octagon and I'm armed, I'm like, I feel like he could take a couple of these, honestly.
Yeah,
get me.
He probably could. Yeah. So wild.
It'd be so. Oh man, yeah, that would not be it. That do not be the look.
Yeah, you could not pay me.
It's good. He's nice.
$1 trillion
Both of them are real nice.
Even.
Two of the most scary men you can name in the world are also two of the nicest guys.
Oh yeah. What about did you see the Woodley getting knocked out last night?
Oh my god, dude! He moved
and that
his
was here in
hand
Tampa.
like that was he. It was such a bizarre punch. He like wound up, and then Woodley moved his hand out of the way and got hit. It was wild.
It's like they were in the back before the fight. When I do this, I need you to drop your hand. I'm gonna throw that big.
I feel like that's what happened.
Tyron Woodley's mom was like, "Everyone get together for a group photo afterwards." It was. I was like, "What are you doing? What are you doing? You're killing this man."
And man, I don't know what he made. I know he made a lot of money.
Yeah, probably like $1.5 million.
If they told me to fight Jake Paul, and they're like, "Hey, here's $50 million, but you can't knock him out," I would do it.
Yeah.
But I'm not doing he's got to knock you out.
Dude, I've been calling out Jake Paul. Jake Paul, you better hear this, dude. I'm still on your ass, dude. I've been calling out Jake Paul, but don't tell anyone though, dude. But I'm just saying, you might want to slide a little money that I'm going down with the first punch, because that's also what I'm sliding some money on, dude. Because whatever he pays me, I'm betting that I go down in the first punch. Because I don't care if it's a body jab, dude. I'm going down right off the rip.
You get the 10 count. That's all you need.
Yeah. Dude, I can't flatline with a body jab.
He was talking about coming to MMA, which
Oh no way!
Boxers can't survive against MMA, because they have boxers versus MMA recently. Mike Perry fought, and I feel like it was really obvious,
Yeah, for sure. I think he should do a boxing match with MMA gloves against, a guy that's Woodley's 0 for 6 in his past 6 fights. He's kind of accepted losing. He's not hungry.
Yeah.
He's not the same killer, the champ that he was before.
And he's a small guy. He's like a foot shorter than Jake Paul.
How much does Jake Paul weigh? I'm gonna see who he could possibly.
I think he weighs in at 190, so probably like 210.
Yeah, probably so.
So you said he'd probably fight at what, like 170?
85.
185.
85 or 70. If he really wanted to cut hard, he could make 70 probably. So let's throw him in there with Masvidal. Or like,
oh my God,
Neil Magny, they'd be the same height.
Yeah, not even a guy. There's Chimaev, someone like Khamzat.
That'd be brutal, dude. Hamzat.
That would be like murder.
Yeah,
murder him. Dude,
Yeah.
I'm on the Hamzat hype train after the last one. I wasn't too sure, and then when he just destroyed Leach with no problem whatsoever, I was like, all right. Leach isn't the greatest, but he's not out here getting destroyed by people like this.
No,
You know, he usually goes the
he
distance with
had
people.
four fights in the UFC, and he's been punched 4 times. That's it.
So wild.
That's unbelievable.
Some of the guys he beat aren't looking too bad. Dude, Gerald Meerschaert continuing to win repeatedly. He's on like a 4-fight win streak now since he got 1 punch knocked out. So some of them not looking too good, like John Phillips, but you know, that.
Yeah, I don't think he's even in the UFC, is he?
Dude, I doubt it. Did he ever get a win?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I think he went 0 for 5 or something.
I don't know though.
There's some guys who get like 1 win on the Contender and then they let him lose quite a few times. It's wild.
Yeah, there's a couple guys in here, you know, that I'd love to fight that I don't think they belong, but you know, they got the right fights. They won fights that you were supposed to win, you know, like their Contender Series fights or a short notice fight. You know, they won the fights that, you know, that kept them or made them get to where they're at. So you can't be mad at them, but it's like, just let me at you. Let's see if you really belong, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. So there's
what do we call that? A measuring stick?
There was one dude. There's one dude. I don't think if he's still in the UFC, then I'll get one more good payday out of him. When I don't really bet too much. If I do, I bet like $1 just to make it more fun. But Jamie Simmons, dude, I'm sorry if you know him. Jamie Simmons.
I have no clue who that is.
Dude, I think he fought at 145. Jamie Simmons, I think, went 0-3-1 in something like that. But he just looked
rough.
Yeah, but it was like I think he just kept taking short notice fights. So they kept throwing him in there. But he he's not even, usually somebody will have a moment. But he had his moments. He never even had his moments. So he just continuously lost. So
that's rough.
There's been some guys like that. So sorry, Jamie Simmons, if you're listening, but you made me some cash. I'll send you a little if you need it at this point, if you're hard up. Slide a little your way. Yeah, that's rude. That's horrible. But there's been what type of stuff do you like to do besides hunting, like when you're not fighting people? Trading.
And that's a lot of my time is hunting. Is a lot of it besides, you know, hanging out with my family and going fishing and vacation, going to the beach. I love going to the beach and being out in the ocean and spear fishing.
Oh hell yeah! Dude.
But if I could somehow figure it out, and I'm still trying to figure it out, how I can make money turkey hunting, that's what I'm gonna do.
I feel like the way would have to be like a YouTube channel.
Oh
yeah, and then you get like sponsors for like turkey jerky and like hunting gear or something.
Yeah,
calls.
That's an avenue, but it's like the work that I don't want to do. Like I don't want to, you know, have to edit and put out content and do all that. And that's me being lazy. With
the production is crazy.
Here's your way to do it, and that's not the way I want to do it. I just want to kill turkeys and get paid for it. But
it would make it a lot less fun if you had to set up production and everything rather than just go and enjoy your turkey hunting time.
You have to do it how like Ronan does it. He has his brother do all his social media stuff.
Yeah.
We had this guy on. He's like 13, 14, and he's fought like 40 times already.
Oh, wow.
And, yeah.
Ooh, he hopes someday to fight at your weight class. And maybe one day he'll be matched up with him. Ronan Swenson, 10 years from now. If you're like, oh, dude, this is the guy.
I'll be 37, dude.
Yeah, you'll be 37. Wow. He'll be 24. You know, could be. They match guys like that up a lot.
They do.
Oh.
Yeah, I think he'll be really good in the
favorites,
future.
Dude. When I'm like, all right, well, dude, let's see how they do. I love when like a young guy goes up against like Darren Elkins or Jim Miller, someone like that.
Yeah,
like, we're gonna know how good they are.
That's brutal. Yeah.
Then you'll know. There have been some brutal ones. Like there was one where I was like, this guy, he had some momentum behind him. Jonathan Pierce. You know Jonathan Pierce? He had some momentum behind him, and they paired him up with Joe Lozon. And I was like, oh, dude, you'll know quick how good he is. It was an ass whooping. Woo! That was a
slick.
Oh, yeah. Oh yeah, he's one of those nerds, dude, that you were talking about
Yeah,
that are just ridiculous.
And that's probably
Those
because I know
cool
we interviewed someone and they were saying they were like getting bullied at one time in school, and that's like what led them to like
Yeah,
fighting to be
Ronan's
Ronan, just to be able to defend yourself.
And it's if you can be good in areas, and it's not even, you don't have to be a physical specimen to be good at fighting, you know. If you can, you know, learn on the fly and learn, you know, just positions and have a fight IQ, it don't matter your build or anything. You can be good at fighting, and that's, you know, them guys that are super smart and intellectual, they can really pick this apart, and they're good. There's just so many different styles of, you know, not just styles of fighting styles, but like a mentality wise as a fighter, you know, like you guys, you know, like that are super smart, super, you know, and like a Rory McDonald kind of guy. But I don't think they have a
pretty
dog.
athletic.
Yes, very. But he was a super smart dude, you know, just very awkward and odd, and was just ahead of the game in areas than a lot of guys at a young age. And then you got Nate Diaz, guys that are just fighters, you know, that it don't matter who you put in the cage with them, they're going to scrap. It don't matter what you're good at.
Yeah.
You know, who you beat, it don't matter.
Yeah. Just out cardio you, just outwork you, dude. I love a good workhorse style fight, dude. Those are always so good.
Oh yeah, and it's so rewarding when you can go in there and just outwork someone, and it's like, no, I didn't sub you. I just, you know, made you break and quit from being tired, and then got the submission. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Vieira versus Fluffy Hernandez earlier in the year was a great one. Ooh, that was a great one. That was so good. I love when those types of fights where it's like, okay, they're grinding and then it's just still one guy. Right when they can feel it, dude. Because when you're grappling with a guy, you can feel it, dude. When he's like, all right, this guy's gassing.
Oh yeah.
Time to just pour it on. And that makes for some of the greatest moments of all time in fights.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and that's, you know, hopefully I can impose that type of pressure and will on this dude and just make them quit. And I know, you know, these Russians, they're just different breeds of people, the different mindsets. And, I'm excited because I know he hasn't fought someone, you know, with my type of skill set and mindset. So
yeah, he only had like, what do we see?
Yeah, he doesn't have as many fights.
6 fights.
Yeah.
Does he have a beard and a mustache? Oh, he does have the mustache. Dude, when a Russian's got a beard, no mustache,
that's bad news.
You know, they're for reals. But he's got the mustache still, though.
Yeah, that's all right. Yeah, if they got no mustache, you're in trouble.
If you're not sure if he's Russian or from, what is it, Amish, you're like, oh, man.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, he's a tough guy.
Jebediah.
They need a good Amish MMA fighter to come out of the woodwork. Like, I've just been training at the farm.
That'd be sick.
Yeah. That'd be so
Jebediah Smith or something.
I like when guys come out of the mountains like Yuri Prohatska and they just start wilding out. Like, who is that guy?
That guy's so fun to watch.
Yes. Dude, he's got a real shot at being the champ.
I think so. I think Glover's just gonna have to, you know, get in his grill and put him on the mat and just grind him for, you know, because we haven't got to really see that guy's gas tank.
Yep.
And I think Glover's just got that type of style to where it don't look like everyone's like, oh shit, I get away from him, or he ain't taking me down until you're in there with him.
Relentless.
Yeah. It's gonna be so wild being the champ of like your division, you know, because you got a target on your back that everyone's aiming for.
Yeah.
Hey guys, thanks again for listening to the podcast this week. Don't forget to DM us on Instagram if you have anything you want to talk about or if you'd like to be a guest on the show. And also, please leave us a rating and review. It really helps people find our podcast. And again, we really appreciate you guys tuning in every week. Bye.